Hi everybody, we are Mike and Brenda Baker, and today we are going to do session 3 of our 7-part series, 7 emotional issues women deal with in remarriage. And the title of today's video is When Husband is Easy on His Kids, but Not on Hers. So there's a lot that goes into all of this, and this is something that I would say probably 60% of people that we have worked with have dealt with in one shape or form. Do you want to start out?
Yeah, the reason I'm starting this one is because, well, it's a dude thing. Okay, so now we've gone over this before, and you'll probably hear us say it again, but it really rings true in a lot of these subjects. And remember, we're really only hitting the skeleton, just the skeleton of this stuff in a lot of these topics. But so the first one is, does he know? Have you communicated it? Okay, now you're feeling like, oh, this dude is way easier on his kids than he is on mine. Maybe he is, maybe he isn't. The point is, does he know that you feel that way? Have you just yelled at him? Because if you just yelled at him, that volume went, and he didn't hear anything you said because he doesn't want to be yelled at. And I'm not saying that you're not right, but you do need to communicate rightly. So in this particular case, you really need to tell him straightforward, watching your tone, of course, because guys, we have issues with hearing a tone go up because then we feel that you're challenging us. But tell him in your loving way that, hey, this is what I feel you're doing. I don't know that this is what you're doing on purpose, but this is how it's coming across.
Mm-hmm. Right. And like Mike said, your tone has everything to do with it. Now, I dealt with this a little bit in the fact that I was way nicer to my stepkids than I was to my own kids. The reason being is that I wanted to make sure that on every single level, I was kind to them, I was forgiving, I was loving, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. And so when you tip one side or the other, it doesn't seem to matter. But it's anytime things are unequal, it's really hard on the kids. So the whole point here is that you're right to feel like, you want to make sure that he is being fair to both kids. However many there are, who if his kids should be treated the same way your kids are treated. And then of course, if you have any together, that's another part of it.
And just keep in mind also, ladies, that you're his wife, not his mother.
Yeah.
Okay. If you start talking to him like you're his mother, once again, click.
Yeah.
Okay. So just keep that in mind.
Exactly. Good point there. Yeah. And so like Mike was saying, it's really important that you communicate that that's how you're feeling. Have some examples. Have, not to pick at him, but with a heart of, how can we fix this? How can we make it better? Would you say?
Yeah.
Is that a good way of saying that?
Definitely not a, what's your problem, but what is our problem? How can we fix this?
Right. And when I was doing that, Mike came to me and he said, "Hun, have you noticed?" And I was like, what? I felt bad because I wasn't trying to be harder on the kids that came from my body, but at the same time, they were with me all the time. They knew the rules. The other ones did too, but there is a time delay in between when kids come into the house and then when they leave. There's a time delay in between when they're used to the rules again. Yeah. They remember, but it takes a little bit for so you do have to be patient with that.
Right.
Were you going to say something?
Nope.
Okay. So you have to be very, very upfront and clearly communicate what it is that you're seeing, how you feel. So point number 2 here is, are you doing the same thing? Sometimes men, would you say, react when we're doing something and they don't like it. And so they overcorrect, if you will.
Yes. So the whole point there is, you may see him doing something, you may be doing the same thing. But because you're so sensitive to your own kids in the fact that this is a blended family, a lot of times you'll notice what he's doing before you'll notice what you're doing. So really, you need to stop trying to fix him and make sure that your stuff is in order as well.
Right. Set the good example. Be the best that you can be, and fix yourself.
Don't be a hypocrite.
Right. You really can't. You can't fix him. You can't control him. Nor do you want to try, because that is a whole lot of stuff that
and a whole other video.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, we should do a video on. So point number 3 on this is, are you nagging?
Men don't like nagging. I don't think we need to beat that dead horse. A lot of you might think, well, he says I nag him about everything. Or some of you may not want to nag, and so you don't say anything, which we already covered, and you got to communicate. So men, okay, so just to give you an example, I have 24 years in the National Guard, and I have 2 deployments to Iraq. All right, what do we get as a soldier? We get feedback. Okay, that's what we call it, is feedback, and that's when somebody wants to point out where we need to step it up. All right, men can react well to very specific, very detailed feedback, but not consistent, nonstop, never-ending, why you're screwing something up feedback. Okay, so and that's something else to keep in mind. Whereas you might see it as, look, we've got an issue, we've got an issue, we've got an issue, we've got an issue. Give that boy a moment to process, all right? Give that boy a moment to let it sink in, especially if he's not clear on what it is you want.
Right, and just kind of going back to the other point that we had on, are you doing the same thing? This is why Mike and I always suggest that you drop the X, or not the X, the step dad, step mom, step kid. Reason being is you don't end up seeing the kids as your own. And so we like to say the position of dad and the position of mom in the household is really important. And that should go for the ex,
both households.
Both households, yeah. It's really important.
Which means that you're the first one to step up with the kids and say, hey, look, I don't know what goes on over there, but just so it's easier for you, if you want to call them dad or mom or however your situation is set up, it's okay with us. It's okay. Those are the offices in that house. We're not going to be upset with you.
And are you saying that they should say to their kids?
Yes, say it to your kids. Don't talk to your exes about it. Tell the kids it's okay. They don't need to ask you. They don't need to feel bad about it. Just do it. If that's what the mom wants at the other house, just do it. It's okay.
Yeah, because really, if you're the biological parent, you're split up, okay? You've gone through a divorce, and so your goal is to make things as easy for the kids as you can, as far as back and forth. Having some of the same rules could be really good for them, but that's not always a co-parenting thing that can happen in every situation. So do your best and try to do everything you can to make things a little easier for the kids, but don't make them entitled, because that will not help you when they're teens, right? We've seen that so many times. Yes. All right, so anything else?
Nope.
All right, so that ends this video on when husband is easy on his kids, but not on hers. We hope that this really helped you to kind of understand why this happens, but also how to deal with it. We've had a lot of success helping people with these very issues. So if you're finding value in this, in the description below, you'll see a link to the Remarriage Academy. And in the Remarriage Academy, we really go over a lot of these things that we do these short videos on in greater detail. And it just is so helpful I wish I would have had these tools, because I really feel like I could have done a better job. Not that I did a bad job, but within myself, I feel like there was a lot of times that I got way more upset than I really needed to within myself, and would take things personally. And so all of these tools are to help you, to empower you to just do your best and let the rest go. So anyways, we really hope that this helped you today. We'd love to hear your comments, questions, or anything else. And we hope to see you on the next video, right? All right, see ya.